We're going to have a group experience tonight. I need a little audience participation. So if you would please, whenever I raise my left hand, if you would say shifted, okay? Shifted. Well, that's good. Didn't blow the roof off, but I'll take it. Okay, one more time. Shifted. Okay, that's good. Okay. I used to get a lot of free clothes in my last vocational incarnation. I'd go into stores, people would sponsor me, and they say, next time you're on TV, would you wear this? We'll be your sponsor. And I would pull up to work in my nice white studio with great artwork and my Mac screen. And my name was on the door, so-and-so and Danielle, Inc. My name was on the parking stall, so-and-so and Danielle, Inc. We had built a lifestyle media company on a concept about inspiring authenticity. And we had a website called, wasn't really called so-and-so, but I'm just being graceful. It was called soandsoanddanielle.com. Wrote a book, got a great book advance, got represented by Malcolm Gladwell's agent, went to New York City, walked by Martha Stewart on the way up to the top floor of Rockefeller Plaza to meet with executives with NBC with our own TV show, did the same thing with CBS, ABC, the Learning Channel. I thought, you guys, you girls got something. And it became clear to us that we didn't want to be lifestyle consultants. We wanted to have a mega lifestyle empire. And for us, there were two business models to do that. One was the Oprah model. Now, staggeringly, Oprah owns 100% of Oprah. She owns all of Harpo. She's never sold or partitioned any parts off. And then there's the Martha Stewart model. And we all know Martha does not own 100% of Omni Media. And we know what happens when you don't own 100% of your own company. That's a foreshadowing, by the way. Okay. So, things are feeling glamorous, lots of magazine coverage, people are being flown in from New York. I mean, you really feel like hot shit when someone flies in to take your picture. And you want it cool during the photo shoot. The first thing you do is you call your mom and say, they're flying someone in to take my picture. Right? You stand on stage and say, I'm sponsored by Obaki, but the first thing you do is you call your girlfriend and say, I scored some free clothes today. And before everything fell apart, before I got... I remember doing an interview with a pretty high-profile entrepreneurial site. And my business partner and I, at the time, sat in front of that camera, and we lied through our teeth about how amazing it felt to inspire authenticity every day in the lives of thousands of women. And behind the scene, what was going on was, I couldn't breathe when I went to work. I remember signing the shareholder certificates after we raised our $400,000 from some guys around town. And I thought, this must be excitement. It's not, excitement feels expansive, not constrictive. I remember walking into my nice white studio with lots of artwork, and before I'd put my hand on the door to walk in, I'd take a deep breath and I would brace myself for the creative tension that was in that place. I remember when we decided to sell shares, I raised $400,000. People, when Oprah calls, people start calling you. It became easy to bat our eyelashes in tea with high net worth individuals who are going to invest in our idea. And we were going to build something online that was community driven, multiple revenue streams, all based on our intellectual product. And I noticed that I didn't want to go to work in the morning. My clothes were tighter, not because I gained any weight, but because I felt constricted. I noticed that throughout the whole story during fundraising, I would sarcastically mention that, you know, I'd really much prefer the Oprah model as opposed to the Martha Stewart model because I didn't want to sell my soul. And I learned that when sarcasm brushes up against your dreams, you better pay attention because something called a shift is going to be on its way. So in October of it was about 3 years ago now, still lots of glamour happening, phone is ringing, 400 grand is now in the door. We'd actually raised 600 grand by that point. And the root of the word glamour, by the way, is deception. Okay? The money that we brought in came with some strings. And I thought, forget my sarcasm about wanting the Oprah model, forget about the constricted breathing, forget what my dream originally was, which was to really be a solo pioneer of authenticity and seeking truth and being a liberated artist. Forget all that. There's this other dream out here people are telling me about, and the dream says, just take the money. Take the money's there. Took I didn't take, I allowed someone to invest 100 grand on our last round. I didn't even know who he was. Didn't even know, but this was all part of the buzz and the glamour of take the money. And the string that the money came with was, you must hire a CEO who's got the IT background to help leverage your online persona and this brand that you've built. And I said, sure, slam dunk. I'm going to take the money, and I'm going to hire the CEO. So jump cut to October, 2 years ago. Girls are coming into my office. We've got 6 people working for us, and they want to work from home. The culture's different. There's some tears in the office. Documents are going missing. I'm not liking going into work. My name is on the door. T, Starbucks. My former business partner, the CEO who I had hired, let us know that our roles in the company would be reduced by 90%. That they were shifting the model to what in the online business is called a content factory. And that I had an option to take 10% of my salary in exchange for writing a few blog posts every week. Now, I didn't need to have it brought to my attention that they owned all of my intellectual property. They owned every word I'd ever written, because I created an entity called So-and-So Incorporated, and I'd signed everything over to the incorporation. The incorporation owned my Twitter name. It owned my Facebook name. I was not free to walk with Danielle because I gave Danielle up, because I wanted to be rich and I wanted to be famous. I didn't take the deal. I realized my soul is no longer for sale, and I walked. Business partner took the deal. Not yet. I still hadn't shifted yet. I drove home after that tea, enraged, bitter. I mean, you can imagine the emotions that would come up. I mean, in addition to selling my soul, I sold 5 years of working 80 hours a week. I sold my name, I sold my image, I sold my reputation, and it was gone in one tea on a lovely afternoon at Starbucks with the CEO that I hired. But I still hadn't shifted yet. Until I woke up a few days later. I mean, there were lots of lawyers involved, there were lots of tears involved. So-and-so took this deal, so-and-so took that lawyer. They were asking for me to return my BlackBerry and my laptop and everything. I was sneaking into the office at 3 in the morning to Xerox shareholder certificates. It was crazy. And finally one morning I woke up and I realized I felt free. That craving for liberation was very present. And when you find that freedom, the only appropriate response is gratitude. And I felt grateful. Shifted. Finally, I'd shifted. And it didn't matter how fucking brutal it was to get there. It didn't matter who was right or who was wrong. What became clear for me was that shift came about for me, that betrayal was just an outer reflection of my own inner betrayal. That I had been telling myself a story for years that I needed other people to define me. That I needed outside sources to declare my value, which of course came in the form of investment at that time. And what I learned is that there's this place where you go, and I can tell you, it's usually as small as the eye of a needle, where the pain that is facilitating the shift for you can coexist in the same place as gratitude. And it will not matter who is right and who is wrong. It'll just matter that you're present and that you're grateful. So the shift is the choice. Consciousness, growth, always comes through intention. You can take one high-level workaholic CEO and give him a heart attack, and he'll want to go back to work on Monday. You can take another high-level workaholic CEO and give him a heart attack, and he'll learn something totally different about it. That he needs to look his wife in the eyes, that he needs to donate some money, that he needs to spend some time with his kids. It's intentional, right? So the place is tight. It's often called an initiation. And whether you get there through a win or through a lose, it's the presence that brings the gratitude that brings the shift. Thank you.